Hey, beautiful peeps. Welcome to Saturday live stream. Yes, I know it's Sunday. Uh, but you know, I'm up. It's 6 o'clock a.m. where I am. So, you know, I may be on later for Atheist Church. I may not. Haven't decided on that one yet. Um, I have been sick, which is why um I haven't been on as much as I'd planned on being on lately. And sorry I'm sniffing because um, I don't know whether it's like my allergies or, whatnot. I don't think it's my allergies because it's not that warm here. um, so I don't know what it is. Anyway, moving on. Comment of the week. Let's go. Today's comment of the week goes to dun, 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 Fish Head Salad. Congratulations, Fish Head. And it is under Ken Ham Science Wrong. There are actually 4 extant species of hyenas around today. Okay. Um, I had said in that um, episode that there's only one extant species of hyena. Uh, if I make a mistake in any of my videos, please, please, please bring it to my attention. Because I in no way mean to misinform anybody. Um, Now, I can't remember where I got that information that there was only one extant species of hyena. Um, but I did get it off of a website. Uh, just to let you know, uh, it was my bad for not checking. That's right, folks. Got to check. But at any rate, striped hyena, aardwolf, brown hyena, spotted hyena. Feliformia is a suborder nestled within the order Carnivora, consisting of cat-like meat-eating mammals, including cats, large genus Panthera, and small genus Felis, hyenas, mongooses, and one or two more that I can't remember. The Feli, as in Felis, or even in Felix the cat, lets us know that these animals are genetically more closely related to cats than dogs. At about 8:40, Ken is talking about Mendel's discovery of dominant and recessive genes, not mutations. Ken is relying on the ignorance of his dumbass sheeple on that one. If one of your great grandparents had brown eyes and one had blue, and everyone else from that lineage had brown, including spouses, there is still a genetic chance that if you have brown eyes and your mate had brown eyes, you could still have a blue eyed child. And yes, that is correct. Um, please watch the episode for like, full information on well, not full information, but just, to round out what he's talking about. Um, the fact that Ken makes it sound like the gene for blue eyes magically mutated away, vanished, and somehow less genetic information has been passed down, is just another creationist crock of shit. I agree 100%. Everyone who is a descendant of the blue eyed great grandparent has a chance of producing a blue eyed child. Mutations have nothing to do with recessive genes. However, blue eyes were originally a mutation in humans, but Wylet lying for Jesus stopped Ken from spreading the truth for Jesus. Alrighty, moving on. As to the why we do not look like our parents, yet we do, is so simple. This is, in a nutshell, chromosomes, DNA, genes, nucleotides, and mutations are all intertwined, and I don't want to write paragraphs about them here. I don't blame you, fishhead. Half of our genetic code, called gametes or zipper genes, comes from our mother, the other half from our father. When the two zipper up, they give us zygotes, which contain 46 chromosomes, 23 from each parent, which join and make us who we are as individual humans. Here's where the dominant and recessive genes come into play. Normally we inherit the dominant genes, but at the same time, we can inherit recessive genes as well. As to the XY or XX joining, that is a toss-up. Also, during the zipping up, some nucleotides do not line up properly. Here is where we get mutations, which also play good or bad within the outcome of ourselves as individuals and future generations. There is a reason why we all look like our parents, but also like humans in general. We have the overall genetics to let everyone else know we're human, but we also have the information within our DNA that makes us look similar to our parents. Excuse me. At 1758, I am pretty sure a little anthropomorphism is going on there. Isn't Bible God just a human guy with ultimate magic powers? Yes, he is. He sits, he walks, he talks, he hears, he smells things, he eats. He has arms. He is a he has eyes. He has human emotions, yada, yada, yada. Jethro Tull, don't know who that is, but I'll look it up later. Got it right. In the beginning, man created God, and in the image of man created he him. And man gave God a multitude of names that he might be Lord of all the earth when it suited man. I agree wholeheartedly. On a side note, when you put links in your video, like at 1910, could you put a link in the description as well? Okay. Um, I do try to remember to put links in the description. I do try. I do. But I have a horrible memory. Okay? I will try harder, I promise. I will try harder. But just be patient with me on that. Please. I do have horrible memory. So, at any rate, thank you for that comment, Fishhead. Wonderful, wonderful comment. And now we will go on to I have no idea what you're talking about, Jill. Um, let me share my screen. Okay, 2nd Chronicles 29. Let's get going. Hezekiah was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 29 years. His mother's name was Abijah, daughter of Zechariah. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father David had done. In the first month of the first year of his reign, he opened the doors of the temple of the Lord and repaired them. He brought in the priests and the Levites, assembled them in the square on the east side, and said, "Listen to me, Levites." Excuse me. Consecrate yourselves now and consecrate the temple of the Lord, the God of your ancestors. Remove all defilement from the sanctuary. Our parents were unfaithful. They did evil in the eyes of the Lord our God and forsook him. They turned their faces away from the Lord's dwelling place and turned their backs on him. They also shut the doors of the portico and put out the lamps. They did not burn incense or present any burnt offerings at the sanctuary to the God of Israel. Therefore, the anger of the Lord has fallen on Judah and Jerusalem. He has made them an object of dread and horror and scorn. As you can see with your own eyes, this is why our fathers have fallen by the sword, and why our sons and daughters and wives have been taken into captivity. Excuse me. Now, I intend to make a covenant with the Lord, the God of Israel, so that his fierce anger will turn away from us. My sons, do not be negligent now, for the Lord has chosen you to stand before him and serve him, to minister before him and burn incense. Then these Levites set to work from the Kohathites, Mahath, son of Amasai, and Joel, son of Azariah; from the Merarites, Kish, son of Abdi, and Azariah, son of Jehalel; from the Gershonites, Joah, son of Zimmah, and Eden, son of Joah; from the descendants of Elazaphan, Shimri, and Jael; from the descendants of Asaph, Zechariah, and Mattaniah; from the descendants of He-Man, and the masters of the universe, Jehiel and Shemaiah; from the descendants of Jeduthun, Shemaiah and Uzziel. When they had assembled their fellow Levites and consecrated themselves, they went in to purify the temple of the Lord, as the king had ordered, following the word of the Lord. The priests went into the sanctuary of the Lord to purify it. They brought out to the courtyard of the Lord's temple everything unclean that they had found in the temple of the Lord. The Levites took it and carried it out to the Kidron Valley. They, excuse me, they began the consecration on the first day of the month, and by the 8th day of the month, they reached the portico of the Lord. For 8 more days, they consecrated the temple of the Lord itself, finishing on the 16th day of the first month. Then they went into King Hezekiah and reported, "We have purified the entire temple of the Lord, the altar of burnt offerings with all its utensils, and the table for setting out of the consecrated bread with all its articles." We have prepared and consecrated all the articles that King Ahaz removed in his unfaithfulness while he was king. They are now in front of the Lord's altar. Early the next morning, King Hezekiah gathered the city officials together and went up to the temple of the Lord. They brought 7 bulls, 7 rams, 7 male lambs, and 7 male goats as a sin offering for the kingdom, for the sanctuary, and for Judah. The king commanded the priests, the descendants of Aaron, to offer these on the altar of the Lord. So they slaughtered the bulls, and the priests took the blood and splashed it against the altar. Next, they slaughtered the rams and splashed their blood against the altar. Then they slaughtered the lambs and splashed their blood against the altar. Excuse me. Verse 23. The goats for the sin offering were brought before the king and the assembly, and they laid their hands on them. The priests then slaughtered the goats and presented their blood on the altar for a sin offering to atone for all Israel, because the king had ordered the burnt offering and the sin offering for all Israel. He stationed Levites in the temple of the Lord with cymbals, harps, and lyres, in the way prescribed by David and Gad, the king's seer, and Nathan the prophet. This was commanded by the Lord through his prophets. So the Levites stood ready with David's instruments and the priests with their trumpets. Hezekiah gave the order to sacrifice the burnt offering on the altar. As the offering began, singing to the Lord began, also accompanied by trumpets and instruments of David, king of Israel. The whole assembly bowed in worship while the musicians played and trumpets sounded. All this continued until the sacrifice of the burnt offering was completed. When the offerings were finished, the king and everyone present with him knelt down and worshipped. King Hezekiah and his officials ordered the Levites to praise the Lord with the words of David and Asaph the seer. So they sang praises with gladness and bowed down and worshipped. Verse 31. Then Hezekiah said, "You have now dedicated yourselves to the Lord. Come and bring sacrifices and thank offerings to the temple of the Lord." So the assembly brought sacrifices and thank offerings, and all whose hearts were willing brought burnt offerings. The number of burnt offerings the assembly brought was 70 bulls, 100 rams, and 200 male lambs, all of them for burnt offerings to the Lord. The animals consecrated as sacrifices amounted to 600 bulls and 3,000 sheep and goats. Excuse me. Bullshit is all I got to say to that. Okay, verse 34. Excuse me. The priests, however, were too few to skin all the burnt offerings, so their relatives, the Levites, helped them until the task was finished and until other priests had been consecrated. For the Levites had been more conscientious in consecrating themselves than the priests had been. There were burnt offerings in abundance, together with the fat of the fellowship offerings and the drink offerings that accompanied the burnt offerings. So the service of the temple of the Lord was reestablished. Hezekiah and all the people rejoiced in what God had brought about for his people because it was done so quickly. You know what? I would love to continue, but I just can't. At least not right now. Sorry on that. Excuse me. So, like I said, I may be on later today. Who knows? But thanks for joining me. Anyway, congratulations, Fish Head Salad, for comment of the week. And I will see you guys later. Bye.